Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is February 27th, 2021, and this is the Flight Sim News. So first up today is some news from Razbam. And there's a couple things from Razbam this week actually, which are pretty exciting. So first up, a post they made last week was, so today we have hit a milestone with the South Atlantic Map. We've managed to get into the sim the whole of the bottom of Argentina and Chile. Just to give you some scale, the map is now 412,800 square nautical miles. If you ever wanted to fly down the Straits of Magellan, ... thanks, Razbam development team. And then there's an image of it right here. I guess as I see more images of it, it does start to look a little bit better than what I've seen in the past. Alright, next up are some brand new images from the South Atlantic Map for DCS from Razbam. Looks pretty promising. Definitely something different, which isn't at all a bad thing. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. And the last bit of Razbam news for this week is they threw up a teaser, as they do, of the F-15E external model work in progress. I just wish they would get it done already. Stop teasing. Let's actually see something, you know. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, next up is more on the clouds, even though they're using an image of the Viper here. They go on to say, we will be rolling out the new volumetric clouds with a wide array of preset weather conditions that vary in number of layers, coverage, density, elevations, thickness, precipitation, and more. Gotta admit, these clouds are looking pretty freaking impressive. The only thing that worries me is that as we add more visual fluff and cool stuff to the engine, all of us in VR that are trying to utilize the game in VR are just going to hate our lives, because I guarantee this is going to hit us hard. It's basic math, man. You can't add more stuff and expect the same performance. So I fly in 2D mostly these days as it is, because the VR performance is so terrible. So it's not going to really affect me that much. I just hope it doesn't kill my 2D experience, because, you know, going back 20-30 years ago, the one thing that you could do in a flight sim to kill your performance was turn clouds on, or put better clouds in there, you know. Tweak the cloud settings, you know, and this has been this way forever. So I'm curious to see how this ends up working out for us all. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Next up is probably the best news of the week, which is more information on the AH-64D. So dying for this to happen. I've really just had very little interest in flight sims over the past month or so now. Just trying to get out of this, you know. And I think the thing that'll bring me out of it would be this Apache module for DCS, because it's always been a favorite, and really looking forward to jumping in the cockpit of this and reliving some of those longbow days. So next up, they're talking about the AH-64. And it goes on to say the AH-64D is capable of adapting to several roles within the context of close air support tasking. In addition to the 30mm M230 single-barrel chain-driven autocannon, it can carry external stores and weapons on its stub wing pylons. Equipment we are planning to release includes mission equipment, sighting subsystem, integrated helmet and display sight system, the IHADS, modernized pilot night vision sensor, MPVS. Used to be PINVIS, now it's MPINVIS. Modernized target acquisition design sight, so it's the modern TADS instead of the old school TADS, and then NVG night vision goggles. Armament systems, area weapon system, the M230E1 automatic gun. Rocket management system, 2.75-inch aerial rockets. And then the Hellfire modular missile system, semi-active laser. And then weapons page, defensive systems, 1 chaff and 2 flare dispensers. Airborne survivability equipment, the ASE page. Common Missile Warning System, the CMWS, and then the Radar Warning Receiver, RWR. Dedicated designers are also working on photorealistic cockpit details and labels. In parallel, work continues on the external model textures. The flight model and flight control system are highly complex and demanding. We are confident that the fidelity will be very high at early access. Much more information on the development of the sophisticated attack helicopter will be coming soon. And then they dropped a whole bunch of new screenshots of the cockpit. And here we are on their screenshots page. And boom, look at that cockpit. This is going to be something else. Definitely brings back memories of the old longbow days. And then, of course, they mix in some screenshots of the clouds. Definitely going to be a good year for helicopter pilots in DCS. The clouds ain't going to affect us much because we're low to the ground. So if there is a saving grace at all with everything that they're doing right now, is we can always turn them off. And I think when it comes to being in a helicopter, they're just not going to affect us that much. So those of us in choppers might have a little bit better time in VR if we turn clouds off and just stick low to the ground and do our thing. And with the upcoming Hind, the upcoming Apache, the upcoming Kiowa, it's definitely shaping up to be a really, really exciting year for DCS world in the terms of helicopters. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, DevBlog 272 from last week. They go on to say earlier in the week they published update 4.506, brought the new aircraft for the Battle of Normandy and many improvements, but the preparation of this update did not slow down our main development. Soon we'll be able to show the first teaser screenshots of the new Normandy map. While today we have for you several of the unique buildings that you'll see in the Normandy and southern English coast cities. Royal Hospital Haslar, Abbey of Saint Etienne, and Bayeux and Rouen cathedrals. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. We are also glad to report that the next Battle of Normandy fighter, the Supermarine Spitfire, will be finished soon. Its flight model should be ready in a month, while its visual model, including the cockpit, is nearly finished. Here are the first in-game shots of this legendary aircraft. Together with our partners at Digital Forms, we continue building the player-controlled AAA trucks. The Soviet 72-K anti-aircraft gun installed on the GAZ-MM truck chassis will be ready soon. The visual and physical models of the truck itself are complete. The 3D model of the gun is created, and we're working on animating it and its crew. Ballistics are recreated according to the historical data, and the rounds already have self-destruct fuses. You may have seen such fuses in action when fired from other anti-aircraft guns in this week's update. This in-game screenshot demonstrates the state of its completion. And then there are some images. Gotta admit, I'm not as excited about this ground stuff. It doesn't really do a lot for me, but I like the idea of blowing up the ground stuff. And I do like buildings and terrain. Don't get me wrong. When I say ground stuff, I'm referring to the, anti-aircraft guns and player-controlled vehicles on the ground. It just doesn't do a lot for me. But it's always fun to fly over awesome, cool buildings and scenery, especially something historical. Definitely nothing to complain about there. Wow, that looks beautiful. Then there's the cathedral at Rouen. We have this in DCS, and actually, I almost think this one looks nicer. I could be wrong. And there is the Supermarine Spitfire. That is looking beast. I can't wait to jump in and fly that. Very, very cool plane. Always love Spitfires in general. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Okay, lastly, this just happened 23 hours ago as of recording this. DevBlog 273, dear friends, today we can show you a teaser. The first screenshot of the Normandy map showing off one of its characteristic features, a coastal port city, Le Havre, in Seine estuary is one of the biggest in France. Our map development team always tries to find new ways to improve landscape elements, and now working on the Normandy map, they are researching new techniques of terrain texturing, coastline composition, keeping in mind the differences in architecture and city layout between the two sides of the channel, attempting to recreate more detailed railway junctions and many other things. Speaking of the railway junctions, some of you have pointed out that they are too simplified on the Rhineland map. They were made simple because the development was focused on many detailed airfields and time was not available. But we're always trying to improve the existing content and other things whenever we have the time and the resources to do so. This year we plan to gradually add more detailed railway junctions to this map. This is the Antwerp rail yard being improved. And then there are two images which really look freaking impressive. So this is the first image, I guess you could say, of the Normandy map. And then there's a kind of a pulled back view of that whole coastline there, which looks really, really impressive. Overall, I gotta say, I love DCS, I love IL-2, but of the two, I really seem to enjoy what they do in IL-2 a little bit more than what they do in DCS in terms of the Warbird stuff. It just seems, I don't know, more fun. It's a little more accessible, and the variety and what you get for the money is just so much better. And that's not to say that DCS doesn't have its, high points when it comes to their Warbirds, because the cockpits are really untouchable, the graphics engine is a hair better, but performance-wise, I seem to enjoy my IL-2 time when it comes to Warbirds more than DCS. And Battle of Normandy is really, really looking good. And it's going to be a good year for these guys too, by looking at just the planes that they've added so far, what they're going to be adding, and the improvements that they're making to their graphics engine as they go as well. Very good stuff. So as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please take a moment and subscribe to the channel. Definitely feel free to hit that like button, leave a comment, and as always, until next time.